What advice do you have for teachers who are shy? They want to teach Bible class, they're a little timid, maybe they're new teachers. What advice would you give someone who's new to teaching any level?
I personally think get the kids engaged in something where you're not responsible. I mean, you are responsible, but you're not being watched. If you're nervous about that, let the kids play a game. You've kind of facilitate it and get more comfortable in that setting, and then I think you'll naturally get more comfortable with the kids once you get to know them. And I understand that it can be intimidating, but I do feel like something that they could do as a whole group where you're not just on stage the whole time.
I think one thing for me, as like a big fear teaching Bible class was I don't know all the answers. And I think it's okay, none of us know all the answers. So letting kids know that and like studying with the kids or looking it up with the kids is a great tool and resource for them that, you know, hey, let's look at this up together. So I think that was maybe intimidating to me. And so if that's intimidating to you, it's okay. And it's a great research and study habit.
Well, even utilize like your team that you're there with. You know, maybe if you're with some more experienced teachers, say, can we do this lesson together? And not have it just be me individually teaching it, but if I do the story, will you help do the activity, or you do the story and I can, you know, do the game or something, and then work together and just to make yourself more comfortable to utilize those other team teachers that you're there with.
I want to emphasize structure, you know, especially with the younger ones. You know, if we can, I think that is so important to have that set layout of the routine every time they come to Bible class. I mean, in my personal classroom, every day we go over what we're going to do that day. We have it, we list it, and then I have cards that I flip over every day. And now it's, you know, they know what to expect. That you know, gets rid of any type of anxiety that the kid has, because so many times now we do see kids that are nervous and anxious to come to Bible class or public school or wherever, and I think once they get in there and they see this is what we're going to do, this is when we're going to do it, that's so important. And also I think shifting students' mindsets for Bible class. For example, at the end of the day every day, or at the end of our schedule, during the day, Monday through Friday, when we get down to dismissal, I'll say, oh, and dismissal. And I get so sad. And the kids now, their mindsets have shifted, and they say, we get to come back tomorrow. And so I keep thinking, because they're trying to reassure me, and I keep thinking that of all the students that when the Bible class bell rings, they cheer.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really cool if Bible class teachers, when that bell goes off, they can say, oh no, you have to leave me now. Especially, you know, the smaller kids, you have to leave. You have to go with your mom and dad. I'm going to be so sad. When do you get to come back? Oh, on Wednesday? Oh, you do? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really neat for the kids, and that will kind of get rid of a lot of anxiety with students.
Yeah, let me ask a follow-up question to something you just said a minute ago. You said you put cards and you flip them over. Can you give an example of what kind of cards you would do in a Bible classroom situation for the kids?
Sure. You could have like a greeting if the teacher wanted to start with a greeting and say, good morning, Janice. Good morning, Mindy. Good morning, Molly. Good morning, Laura. If that could be a potential greeting, so you could have a greeting, and then you could have, if they structured it to where the songs were first or the memory verse was first, you could say, okay, now it's memory verse time. Now it's Bible song time. Now it is our Bible activity time. Those types of things.
And so what ages do you guys think that would be appropriate for? All the way, I mean, because we're talking about, you know, 2 and 3 year olds up to 6th grade. So what age would that card usage cut off at? Or would you use it for up to 6th grade?
If you're talking about any student that might be autistic or that needs a visual schedule, I think it's important you do it all the way up. Maybe, you know, just not make such a big deal about it, but I do feel a lot of times you would need that all the way up. I mean, that's been my experience. They don't just like I know in school system, when we prepare a lot of times, when we do the practice fire alarms, we're getting ready to have a loud noise and, everybody, it's okay. You kind of, you let them know. I think it's just important for they feel safer. And I think everybody likes to know what's going to happen next.
Right.
And that goes along with your schedule. But that's just my opinion. That I think
that's really good advice because I've been teaching Bible class for a lot of years and I'm very random. Like how I teach class every time is different.
Right, right.
We're going to play a game or we might do the
Right.
story first or whatever.
Right.
So would you say that you need to do the same things every time in a certain way, or is it okay to mix it up but just let them know, hey, we're going to do this different this time? Or?
I don't think you necessarily have to do the same things the same way every time.
Oh, okay.
But that comes into play with what Molly was talking about earlier with knowing your students and getting to know them first. Now, if you have students that do seem very particular and they could potentially have some anxiety or they do get nervous about things, it might be a good idea, at least for the first several Bible classes, to do the same things in the same order. In the same way.
Like at the beginning of each trimester when you first start?
Yeah, at least for the first couple. But if you have a class that likes to shake things up and they don't mind to do that, then say, hey, today, boys and girls, we're going to get to do this, we're going to get to do this, we're going to get to do this, and we're going to get to do this. Now, I don't know which way we're going to do it, but we're going to do those 4 things. I mean, you can kind of shake things up like that too, but definitely.
You could also have the cards still that Dylan was mentioning, and just in a different order. So when the kids do come in, those that might need that schedule, they can see and be like, oh, okay, well today we're gonna do a game first, and then they could kind of be prepped as they come in and still have what they know to look at for their anxiety, possibly, but still
that's a great idea.
Still have that, because I think doing things out of order and having that novelty makes it fun for kids too.
Absolutely.
And I would not want it to be the same
Right.
every single time. So if there was a kid that needed a schedule or structure, just rearrange it maybe for them.
Kind of going off on a tangent on this. When a visitor comes in and they're not used to our Bible class, maybe they've never been to Bible class or they're it's their first time at our church and they don't know any children. What would be a good strategy or a good thing to do when you have a visitor like that? Maybe you don't know if they're visiting with a family member and they've been to church all their lives or they haven't been. What would be a good strategy to use with a child that comes in and you don't know anything about them?
I know one thing I like to do that lessens anxiety for kids, and maybe especially a visitor, is to have them turn and talk. So if you are doing a review game or there's questions, the visitor or the child that is anxious to talk doesn't feel pressure to answer in front of everyone, but they have that level of comfortability with just one other person, that it's okay if they get it wrong because their audience is 1 instead of 15 or 20. And so it gets them involved, but it also relieves the pressure of having to speak in front of the whole group.
When they don't know anybody.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And when they first come, sorry.
No, go ahead.
When they first come in, I just try to make a big deal. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. And what's your name? And I'm Miss Mindy. And who are you here with? If it's older kids, and to try to make a connection of, oh, I went to school with them, or your mom or something, and introduce them to the kid they're sitting next to, and just to make them right away feel really welcome, because it is hard to be the visitor kid that comes in and there's a lot of them and they all know each other and you don't know anybody, and so just try to immediately break the ice and just, we are so glad you're here today.
Yeah.
So
Agree. No, that's basically what I was going to say, because during that conversation you could say, do you like to read out loud? Do you like, and you can start asking those probing questions, do you like to take lead, or would you like to help with our game, or would you like to, say, just read the memory verse for us, or, just ask them, get their permission.
Right, because it could be a child that attends another church, or it could be a child that has never come to church before. So asking those questions would be good, because even maybe a side-to-side conversation might be nerve-wracking for someone who has never been in a Bible class before. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to say. Would you like to read the memory verse? Because there may be a passage you've been working on for weeks, and all the other children know it, and this one child that's coming and visiting may feel really uncomfortable,
Right.
Because they might think, oh, should I know that? And I don't know that.
Right.
So it would be good to just say, you want to just read it,
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that. Okay.
And I think that goes back, just to preparation.
Yeah.
Always having, try to think about that in your mindset when you're lesson planning. Always have extras or always have something for a student that might not be comfortable with whatever activity it might be that you're doing. Or if you're doing a play or something like that, always have a role that a child is going to feel successful in and not a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's really good. I appreciate that.
And with new students, Eileen, as far as structure goes, because you never know, what the student may be like whenever they first come in. And so I would lean more toward the higher structure, if you have a newer student, than the more relaxed structure. And then you can kind of let loose once you realize, hey, they're good with this. We're gonna just truck on through.
It's hard to get them back after
is.
it's been a loose
It is.
structure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them back.
I think I heard someone say to me one time, go in like a lion and go out like a lion.
Yeah.
You gotta be kind
Uh-huh.
of hard at
Yeah.
the beginning and then soften up as time goes
Yeah.
on. So.